morning from Los Angeles, California. I'm Dr. Ryan Ava. Let's get right to our big breaking story. The leader of the Oath Keepers, Stewart Rhodes, convicted on a very serious and rare charge of seditious conspiracy. Without a doubt, this notable verdict is momentous in the history of this nation, and not only a big win for the Department of Justice in particular, but an important win for justice in this country as a whole, as it does set a significant precedent. Now, although this was a must-win for the DOJ to at least get the leader of the Oath Keepers convicted of seditious conspiracy, I believe there are a few lessons for the Department of Justice and its future prosecutions here. The acquittal of others on seditious conspiracy and the uniform conviction for obstruction of the official proceedings could demonstrate what may or may not be easier for jurors to grasp. It also sends a message to some members of the Republican Party, including to those who tried to make this out as if it was just a tourist trip to the Capitol on that day. The verdict must have very chilling impact on the rest of the domestic extremist population as well. A very loud and clear message to other members of militia groups and to those people who are harboring similar grievances and thinking about pressing them violently, particularly at our political system and our democratic process. The message being, you cannot do that in this country without severe consequences.
CNN senior national correspondent Sarah Seidner is outside of the courthouse here in Washington, D.C. Sarah, this is a historic verdict. Tell us about how big of a win this is for the Justice Department and really the precedent that it sets.
Yeah, there is no doubt this is a very important moment in history for the Justice Department in particular, but for justice in this country. This was a case that was the first trial of a seditious conspiracy trial to be brought. And so this is sort of the government's attempt at trying to, as they see it, get justice for what happened on January 6th. And who they went after is this group of people who are part of a militia known as the Oath Keepers, a far-right group who used to say that they were, sort of anti-government, but then when Donald Trump came into power, they started backing Donald Trump and wanting Donald Trump to continue to hold on to power even after the election of 2020 said he did not win the election. So here's what we have. The government has proven its case when it comes to Stewart Rhodes, the founder of the Oath Keepers. He founded it in 2009. That seditious conspiracy charge he has been found guilty of. So has one of his top lieutenants, Kelly Meggs. Those are the only two people, though, out of the 5 people who have been charged in this case with seditious conspiracy to be convicted of the charge. The others have been found not guilty by this jury. And what this tells you is that the jury has gone through each of their stories, each of their defenses, which were very different, by the way. They all had different stories as to what they were doing there, why they were there. And the biggest and most important thing is that the government was trying to prove that they were trying to stop the peaceful transfer of presidential power by using force. They said, yes, Stewart Rhodes is guilty of that, as is Kelly Meggs. Stewart Rhodes, however, never went into the Capitol. So when you start looking down at some of these other charges, like conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, Stewart Rhodes was found not guilty. And the reason why we are bringing his name up over and over again is partly because he founded this group, the Oath Keepers, and each of these people, 4 of them, all 4 of them are members, and one of them was an associate of this group. He was sort of seen by the government as the leader of these actions, the person who was talking the most, who was messaging the most, who had the most to say. Just after the election, the government has these text messages and these messages where he starts talking about civil war when it is determined that Joe Biden won the 2020 election over Donald Trump. And so a lot of his verbiage and his wording really, I think, struck this jury. They also, of course, heard some secret recordings of him talking to some of the members of this group. They also saw a lot of video of different things, as well as some of the guns that were brought into Virginia as part of a quick reaction force. Those were brought into court. They were displayed. They were pulled out. They were opened. The jury saw the firepower that this group had and that this group had put in Virginia, knowing that it is legal to have them in Virginia, but that they could bring them into D.C. When and if as Stewart Rhodes put it, the president decided to go forward and say that there was an insurrection, the Insurrection Act was in place, and then they would come forward as a militia to back him up. So the jury clearly seeing that the head of the Oath Keepers is guilty of seditious conspiracy, a charge, by the way, that brings with it up to 20 years in federal prison. So it is a huge, huge moment for the prosecutors and the defense. But it's a mixed bag, because if you go down all of these charges, there were a total of 10 charges. It is a mixed bag of who is guilty and who is not guilty. This jury deciding each case individually as they were supposed to do, but overarching, the defense has constantly been for all of them that there was no plan on January 6th. Well, that is not what the jury found. They clearly saw a plan in place, a plan that Stewart Rhodes followed, and that is what the jury decided. So you have to have at least 2 people to be a part of a conspiracy, and literally 2 people were convicted for that seditious conspiracy and some of the other conspiracy charges.
All right,
Brianna.
Sarah,
For my work, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Also, please don't forget to hit the bell icon so you wouldn't miss any of my new videos. Thanks for watching.